Here we have Alex on the 5th of January, and I pulled the 5th of January because that is what Associated Press indicates underneath their January 25th mystery piano video as the origin date of the piano. So let's hear what he has to say.
Average Americans like, NFL games have been really great, haven't they? You know, guys at gas station counters will ask you, and you're like, yeah, zombie, I wish you could talk about real issues. And the guy behind you's like, yeah, did you see UFC?
Okay, did you see UFC? And I didn't catch this when I first started researching this, but if you recall from the Why Mozart video, UFC and Tito, and now UFC and Maynard. So I will have to get more into that. I have a feeling I need to watch La Clemens de Tito to figure this out. So if you notice, I noticed right off the bat that Alex is wearing a red shirt. And Alex, I don't watch him every day. There was a point, and it was right around this time of this airing, that I was watching on a daily basis, or listening. I was listening live to his show from the GCN website. But right off the bat, I noticed he was wearing a red shirt, and he doesn't hardly ever wear red. And, the fleur-de-lis in the pocket area, and then the 1871 there. And I just found that really kind of interesting. But first, before I get into that, let's move on, see what he has to say. I already played the part where he mentions UFC.
Yeah, I watched it. A bunch of rich gladiators that could care less about me. Did you see it? Yeah, I'm empty too. Yeah, I did. I fill my head with facts and figures that don't matter, instead of learning the political system and standing up for myself.
Okay. I hate to think that I was so blind, and not that I was a huge Alex supporter from the beginning, but just the way he talks down to people is amazing. Would you trust this guy if he was your friend?
Yeah. I wonder why women don't respect me. I wonder why I'm not successful in business. Yeah, we're all in Arrested Development. Isn't it fun? Let's talk about it together. I mean, if they were having a real discussion, that's what it'd be. But instead, it's like, when you don't want to talk about it, they go, oh, you don't know all this. And they kind of just look at each other and go, all the time I'll be at a restaurant or a grocery store or some event, and some guys will come over. Even people who know who I am, they'll go, hey, Alex, or I'll be at a soccer game with my kids or whatever. Again, I'm not saying sports are bad in and of themselves if you're involved in it, but not when it's your whole focus. And they'll go, hey, what do you think of the Cowboys? What do you think of this? And they'll throw out some statistics, and I'll just go, I'm not really that interested in it. They'll just kind of smile at each other and go, and then, I'll sit there and listen to grown men in the gym trying to act like they're sportscasters and these elaborate combinations of information and history and what.
Okay, so remember that Reagan was a sportscaster.
They're predicting and what they're betting on and what they're doing. Or you'll hear even more pathetic discussions of systems to win lotteries. And, hey, have you heard the Mega Millions is 200 million? Hey, are you going to bet on it?
Okay, so, one of the top stories on Associated Press was the Mega Million lottery that eerily paralleled the lost numbers.
It's just George Orwell in 1984 wrote all about that. All they cared about was sports and the lottery in that fictitious police state.
1984. Okay, so let's go over to Wiki and look and see. So I looked up 1871, which is what's on his shirt. And you can see this is the sigil for Spain. And there's the fleur-de-lis. You know, it looks similar to all the other ones, but this caught my attention. These little waves down here. And the fleur-de-lis, okay, so. But 1871 was Amadeo. Or sometimes known as Amadeus, was the only king of Spain from the House of Savoy. He was the second the second son of King Vittorio Emmanuel II of Italy. So I just thought that was interesting. So I want you to look at the title to the show, because it also has a lot of clues in it. Nicholas was the name of the kid that put the piano on the sandbar. Harp is an instrument. And then death of former, that's the death of the former White House aide. Okay, so I want you to remember that. Death of former White House aide. So we have Nick, instrument, and death of former White House aide. And then also a little fun fact on the name Nick. If you've seen the movie, the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, well, anyway, the character that plays, the devil, they call him Mr. Nick. So I found that interesting, and it makes you think like Christmas, Santa Claus, Saint Nick, Satan. So, but let's move on. This is still only 7 minutes into his program. I've found that a lot of his clues or secret message relaying, or whatever you want to call it. I mean, it's way beyond a secret message. This is just coded talk. It's usually within the first little bit you can catch it. But here.
See, we put local federal spy grids in everywhere in every country. No, we built lots of new productions. Oh boy. Lucky we're surveilling everyone. We did it for Al-Qaeda, but now we're going to use it on you. Good thing we started building this in acceleration 11 years ago when we set it all up. It was total premeditated, continuity of agenda worldwide, same programs, same uniforms, same everything, just global financial takeover with a military takeover on the tail end of it. As the solution. I mean, you want something to be done about all the rioting, the starving. I mean, don't you want us to help you?
Okay. The rioting. I mean, I think there had been, issues in Europe, but for the most part, Egypt hadn't been rioting yet. Of course, the U.S. hadn't been rioting. So I just found it interesting that he would bring up rioting.